Hello, Cracked. Our last encounter has made me throw one of my biggest rage quits for your absolutely cringeworthy idiocy.
It's because racism just happens to sync up with good game design as well. Holy mother of Cthulhu! This is way too much stupid to handle, sir. This is way too much stupid. I can't handle this. I need to take a break for a moment. I need to take a break.
And now you have to do that in a video form. Let's get straight to it. 5 things gamers must admit to themselves. I'm game. Let's continue.
Hey, America.
Keep in mind that these are the kinds of people that are preaching for inclusivity.
I'm Crack Senior Editor Josh Sargent, and I'm here to talk about video games. Specifically to say that we let them down, guys. They were supposed to be the future. Interactive storytelling was supposed to surpass movies as the new art form of a new generation.
Stop. Video games are not interactive movies. They can be, but you really need to make it as good as in 80s or 90s adventure games, or Telltale adventure games good. Scratch that. Walking Dead Season 1 good. Or at the very least, Life is Strange. There's your default preset. Hope you can beat that. It's not that hard.
We're supposed to surpass movies as the new art form of a new generation, but we won't let it.
Nope. It's not that we won't let it, JF. It's just that with games like, say, Sunset, it's because the game is bad. The game is bad, Jeff. We don't want any bad games. Of course, we're gonna show some backlash against bad games. Are you saying that we should just shut up when bad games exist? No. They're gonna get criticisms, whether you like it or not.
We're holding them back because you can't admit that the level of violence in video games is smearing banana paste on your chest and calling yourself the king of France insane.
We admitted that video game violence is insane for like years now because we know they're gory and violent and we like it gory and violent. If you're so triggered with fictional blood and gore, I'm still baffled on why game developers now don't have this simple gore option, or how about this simple option for vulgar language so that the kids don't get triggered, or the man babies at least. This is the original Fallout off of 1987. Just for the love of God, game devs, and especially you, Nintendo, include the uncensored version within the game. But unfortunately, that would require them to put more effort in their games, which game devs tend not to do in these days because they're lazy like that.
Look, game bros and game ladies, I don't think rounds and...
That line was huge cringe. It sounds like a random-ass businessman trying to be hip with the kids.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
I don't think rounds in video games is a bad thing. I just think it's weird that it's the only thing.
Okay, there's a big difference between someone who is interested in video games and a whiner like you. Someone who is genuinely interested in video games that are not the typical violent stuff would go on Steam and find the games that they wanted. They would look out for games like, say, Stardew Valley, Rocket League, City Skylines, Cluster Truck, The Sims. Okay, that one is debatable. Someone who is actually interested on playing games will actively go out to look out for these games. And by the time they do find them, they're gonna enjoy playing those games as much as they wanted. A total whiner will complain that the video games that they played aren't famous enough. But this total whiner takes it into a whole new level and say,
I just think it's weird that it's the only thing.
as shown previously, it is evident that it's not the only option, and this person can only just make an entire video and whine about how they couldn't find the games that they wanted because going to Steam is too triggering for them.
I think she's right. You are retarded.
4 of the 5 best-selling games of 2015 are just about killing people.
4 out of 5 top-selling video games in 2015 are about killing people, therefore video games that I want doesn't exist. Your logic is astounding, my friend.
If they don't have sukiyaki, then our theory is as bogus as Scientology.
And when I say about, I mean the reason we play these games is so we can pretend to kill people. With guns specifically, because we don't want any innovation getting between us and scratching our murder itch.
Because killing people in video games never gets old. Unless, of course, you're a rich guy from Silicon Valley and anything and everything is too boring for you because you got all the toys that you want and you just want to complain that the toys that you get are getting way and way too boring.
It is one creepy looking tunnel.
Kinda reminds me of your sister for some reason.
One Twitter user pointed out that
Citing Jonathan McIntosh is never a good thing. Ever.
One Twitter user pointed out that at the 2016 E3 Gaming Expo, 89% of the games shown were about solving problems with violent retribution.
So, you have like the 11% of games. Go play them and shut up. Let the tasteless plebs enjoy their murder fantasy, whether you like it or not. They're fun and competitive. You want the boring artsy hipster games? Go get the boring artsy hipster games. They're there for you to enjoy and for other gamers to not enjoy because of how short and tiresome they are. You're complaining that they're not famous enough. How about you try to make them good first?
And people lost their shit at him just for saying that. Why?
Did this dude just white knight Jonathan McIntosh? Because he's Jonathan McIntosh. He's a fictional character who is trapped in the real world. He's the kind of guy who said that burning the office of a political party that he disagrees with is totally justified, but God forbid Kratos for teaching his son how to hunt.
He's literally doing math.
Not a good defense. Even if Macintosh is right on the math, you can't just demand gamers to just stay out of these violent murders. And keep in mind that Jonathan McIntosh is the kind of person who is dismissed even by his own peers. Even Anita Sarkeesian dismisses him. Okay, if Anita Sarkeesian thinks that you're too extreme, you really need to reevaluate.
Oh, you'd be surprised how many transgressions a filthy little sinner like you can rack up in just a day.
He's literally doing math. That's gaming.
Doing math is gaming? My calculus is D, and I play video games all night, so nope. It's not about doing math. What are you even talking about?
I want to point out that games can do a lot of stuff that isn't murder. There's The Sims. There's Minecraft. That's all I can think of off the top of my head.
There's Stardew Valley, there's Paper Please, there's City Skylines, Terraria, Splatoon, Journey, Amnesia, Guitar Hero, PES, Rocket League, Soma, Portal, Cluster Truck, Thomas Was Alone, Volume, Just Dance, Planet Coaster. If those are the games that you can think of at the top of your head, stop complaining right now and start looking on Steam for some serious video. That, or you just want to whine on the internet, which is, it's fine, I guess.
But we gamers still choose to spend our gaming dollar almost exclusively on recreations of the most f***ed up we see in the news.
Let's get back to your last sentence on video game violence.
I don't think violence in video games is a bad thing.
And let's get back to you right here.
But we gamers still choose to spend our gaming dollar almost exclusively on recreations of the most f***ed up we see in the news.
Nope, you have a problem with violent video games. Showing is more effective than telling, my friend.
Now look, I enjoy casual violence as much as—
Casual violence? What the hell is casual violence?
Where'd you learn history? A cereal box?
But of course, it's weird. When we pretend it doesn't look weird, that just makes us look more weird.
Newsflash, millions of people play games like CSGO, Overwatch, Dota, Grand Theft Auto Online, and Battlefield 1 this year alone. Millions of people enjoy killing other players in the virtual space. It's not a weird thing enjoying video game violence. Where did you get that notion that people who enjoy video game violence are a bunch of weirdos? Is this just you projecting how weird you are among your rich aristocratic peers? Just asking.
I hate all these damn rich people.
Compare these games to the top 5 highest grossing movies of 2015.
What the hell are they even comparable?
How high are you?
There's no one around. I can't hear anything. I'm freaking out. Paranoid.
You smoked all of it, didn't you?
It's still mostly violence, but at least it's different kinds of violence. We have laser sword fights, dinosaur fights, car and gun fights, superhero fights, and I didn't see Minions, but I assume there's some graphic torture or something.
Star Wars Battlefront is among one of those games. Black Ops 3 lets you play as dudes in power armors. Grand Theft Auto 5 is Fast and Furious the game. Fallout 4 have mutated creatures that look more terrifying than your typical dinosaurs. Minions, how are they any different to your typical football players? Do you even double check these videos?
My BS detector's going ding.
I get it though. This is a sensitive topic for a lot of people because we remember a time when people were trying to make video games not a thing anymore. In the 90s, there was serious discussion about whether or not games were causing all the problems in the world and needed to be banned forever. Or at least it seemed that way to us because we were kids and didn't realize that these kinds of controversies happen like once a decade and always end up being as ephemeral and meaningless as, say, Piers Morgan.
Are you seriously gonna take every word from those people seriously? It's not a serious discussion, and it has never been a serious discussion. My brother shoving his halberd up to a giant boss's ass in Dark Souls doesn't mean that he's gonna do the same thing in real life. It's just a bunch of irresponsible parents blaming their bad parenting to anything else. Because accepting the truth that they're bad parents are way too triggering for them. Yeah, because that's exactly what a lot of successful people do.
I gotta blame somebody, otherwise it's all my fault. Fuck that.
And yet here you are preaching almost exactly the same topics. Your lack of self-awareness is disturbing. To quote Razorfist, you ran so far away from your parents, you became them on crack.
You're running away from the truth because it's ugly?
Why not? What's wrong with running away from reality if it sucks?
We're an important part of the economy now, so at the risk of sounding cynical, even if scientists wearing lab coats and speaking in European accents conclusively proved that video games caused real-world violence, they probably still wouldn't take them away.
No, they will take them away if it is scientifically proven that video games would cause real-life violence, because that would solve the huge problems in our society at hand. There's a good reason why the mainstream media has not accepted gamers lately. It's because these mainstream medias are being run by the most irresponsible parents in the entirety of the universe, and they refuse to even solve the problem at hand, which is their freaking bad parenting.
What's this world coming to?
Because gaming is expensive enough now to be a rich people hobby, and rich people hobbies can be literally anything. We're safe. Who cares? So let's just go full punk rock and admit that gaming is super
You cannot distinct between fictional entertainment and reality. You are the biggest problem that we have in this society.
Is this true? Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
The anger thing probably isn't a coincidence.
What are you talking about?
Already, I know that some of you are questioning whether I'm a true gamesman.
The only question that I have in my mind is whether or not you have good arguments to be brought to the table. And so far, you haven't brought any.
So let me be clear here and say that my gamer cred is unfucking impeachable.
Doesn't matter. Your arguments still suck, monkey dishwasher.
When I learned the true meaning of loyalty and friendship, it wasn't because some friends and I discovered a dead body in the woods. It was from Minsk in Baldur's Gate and his unwavering devotion to Boo the miniature giant space hamster. So step on. And yet, despite this obvious pedigree,
Please do me a favor. Show. Don't tell. If you don't want to get called a hater, maybe you should have better arguments to sell.
And yet, despite this obvious pedigree, I still don't like to call myself a gamer.
Why don't you like to call yourself a gamer?
Because that word seems less associated with video games and more associated with being a dick on the internet.
And guess who made the word gamer to be about being dicks on the internet? Certainly not me.
In fact, Google literally autocompletes the word gamer to GamerGate, which was an internet harassment campaign with ties to white supremacy groups.
So, this is how people game drop when they say it on a video form. My god, just the way he say those words. I'm trying to hold my urges to freaking punch someone right now. I think you're right. The anger really is not a coincidence. It's almost like there's someone who incites them or something. GamerGate, a harassment campaign with ties to white supremacy groups. I have to remind people constantly that only 0.65% of people who participated in this hashtag are actual harassers. The rest are concerned about ethical standards in video game journalism. And journalism in general, of course, that includes the kind of journalism that is coming from you. Thankfully, you're just a comedy channel, correct? So you're in some ways totally exempt from any sorts of criticisms of your accuracy. But if you're pulling off comedies while also spreading absolute falsehoods, honest trailer, you're gonna confuse the living hell out of people. GamerGate's worst nightmare. What are you even talking about?
I can also tell you anecdotally that writing about video games attracts way more internet hate than writing about anything else.
Really? I don't see much of a problem in my end. Most people like my videos. I don't just write about video games, I make videos about video games. I wonder what the problem is. Maybe the problem lies on the people like you saying, oh, I don't know, we want the devs to not be involved in the games. God, that was stupid. Have you ever think for just 1 second that this kind of content that you're writing is so monstrously stupid it causes people to lose their freaking brain cells? Have you ever considered the tiniest possibility that you wrote such unfathomably moronic ideas that have caused people to lose their freaking minds? Even this video managed to get on my nerves, but thankfully as long as I don't swear, I'm perfectly restrained. You're right, that anger is not a coincidence, JF. That anger is caused by people like you. Oh, I just noticed you're the same writer as the last video I made. If your job is just to trigger some form of anger in my nerves, my god, Cracked. You're a freaking master at this. I'm impressed. I think I really need to keep my calm down as I get along.
Compare the comments under a "this movie is sexist" article to the "this video game is sexist" article on literally any website, and you'll see the difference.
It's almost like those two articles are saying horribly moronic things that causes people to lose so much of their brain cells it cures people with brain tumors.
You're an emotional fucking cripple. Your soul is dog shit. Every single fucking thing about you is ugly.
Also, everybody knows this.
Citing Arthur Chu, a guy working in salon, a news outlet that excuses pedophilia, a guy who will just shut up when things are not right.
And we all have stories of saying something's not right about the situation, or hearing accounts, something is not right that's going on, but it's not my business, so I'll stay out of it.
Yeah, how's that working out for you, movie blob? Man, I'm starting to get scared of being rich. The life of rich people is so monstrously boring, it might be possible that they'll resort in pedophilia.
Even Reddit.
It's a subreddit of gamers having rage quits. Hey, this guy over here?
Mom, do not waste this chance, Mom. Do not waste this chance. Come on, just kill that guy over there first. Or blow that thing up.
Ah! Oh, that's almost... What?
No!
Yeah, that's normal in the gaming environment. That's rage quit for you. That happens when you play video games, especially multiplayer.
At a certain point, that's not a coincidence. And that certain point was 6 years ago, and people started advertising to us using our inability to control our temper as their gimmick. Anyway, games. Mostly about killing. Gamers. Mostly mad all the time. Maybe a link. Not a crazy idea.
You are a boring F cunt.
God, I'm trying so hard to control my freaking nerves of how monstrously stupid this video is. Listen! That happens when you play video games. That happens when you play Uno and your friend just trumps you out with +4 cards. That happens when you play Monopoly where you drop yourself to your friend's 4-house +1 hotel lot and you have to pay the goddamn rent to the point of bankruptcy. That happens when you play freaking rock, paper, scissors. That happens in any game. Not just virtual ones. Any game. Losing causes people to lose their freaking temper. And losing happens a lot in video games.
Of course you're camping! Why are you camping behind the car? Why?
Yo, do not fuck with me right now. Do not fucking pro in the house, bitch! Oh my god, what the fuck?
What? You didn't even have me, oh my god!
Oh my god.
Oh my god, you went back to 4th place?
Dude, shut the fuck. Shut the fuck up! Damn! What the fuck? You stole my fucking leather belt? Fuck! Fuck! Hey, don't put it out on that fucking leather. Fuck!
So let me get this straight, Cracked. You make garbage, moronic, and anger-inducing articles and videos. People got angry to your moronic, stupid, and anger-inducing articles and videos. However, instead of taking responsibility and admit that your moronic, stupid, and anger-inducing articles and videos are moronic, stupid, and anger-inducing, you say, oh, it must have been the people playing video games. It's all just because people playing video games. There's absolutely no possibility that our content is garbage. Our content didn't do nothing. These gamers just get angry because they're gamers. They are angry. They're always angry. Our content has nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Nice try on shifting the blame, Cracked. Nice try on playing absolute mental gymnastics. But you're not gonna get past me. I have found the real problem and the issue at hand. And that problem is your garbage, rage-inducing content that you refuse to admit to be garbage and rage-inducing because taking the blame is too much of a responsibility to you for irresponsible, easily unimpressed, boring, rich aristocrats off of Silicon Valley.
Damn these rich people.
Now that we know that Cracked is just basically trolling all of us, I think I'm just gonna respond this with less of an enthusiasm. I wanna know how far can Cracked make me go ballistic. So let's keep on moving.
We don't actually care about story.
Really? Is that your best, Cracked? Come on, make me angry. Pull it off for just once. You're a professional troll. You're good at this. So go ahead. Do it.
Do it! Do it! Come on! Kill me! I'm here! Come on! Do it now! Kill me!
And as for gamers not really care about story, it depends on the game, so be specific, please.
I've read hundreds, probably, of articles about why video game stories are so bad. Why, the articles ask. Why are they so bad?
What video game are we talking about here? Can you be specific, please?
I'll tell you. It's because we gamers, you and me, don't give a f***.
Again, please be specific on the video games. Talking about the story in Overwatch and The Last of Us bring in two completely different perspectives of video game story.
It's not why we play, and it never has been, and it never will be. The stories don't matter to us.
Again, please be specific on the video game you're talking about. Talking about the story in The Walking Dead and the story in CSGO will result in different perspectives. Just made me to repeat myself.
Now, games have good stories. Last of Us has a cool story, and if you watch all the cutscenes on YouTube, it's a pretty good movie. In fact, you could make the argument that that's the best way to enjoy The Last of Us' story. Want proof? I'm making that argument right now. You just got told, welcome to the internet, I am your god.
Actually, if you want proof of that, you can just YouTube Last of Us full cutscenes and actually watch the entire movie, or the entire game. That is not only a bad joke, but a missed opportunity of educating your viewers on something, because Cracked is not for educating people. Cracked wants to induce rage.
Anyway, I gotta spoil this game for you.
And to those of you who haven't played Last of Us, just go watch the movie, full cutscene, or YouTube, or read the synopsis on Wikipedia, or just freaking play the game. Oh wait. You're done? Good. Let's keep going.
You spend most of The Last of Us as a big tough man named Joel protecting Ellie, a young girl. At the end, you find out that the only way to cure the world's zombie problem is to kill Ellie. But Joel can't let that happen, and he kills a bunch of scientists, escapes with Ellie, and lies to her about what happened. For the ending to work emotionally, like as a story, you have to believe that Joel sees Ellie as vulnerable and feels a responsibility to protect her. And yet, she's invincible during the entire game. She can't get hurt or even seen by enemies because if they could see her, the whole game would have been a huge pain in the ass.
Oh look, someone just found out about ludonarrative dissonance. There's a reason why game developers made Ellie invisible, because if she can get hurt, she will be like Ashley from Resident Evil 4. As in a total freaking annoyance that you just want to die. As in, not a character that you want to empathize with. So if you want to create a character that you sympathize with and you want to put that character in gameplay, it's a choice between having an AI that just generally ignore you or an AI that you just want to fucking tear to pieces apart, you bitch, just go die in the fucking fire, you fuck. This is why companions like Elizabeth from BioShock Infinite works. She's not only invincible, but she can come at the most crucial moments to actually help the player. Ellie works, but not as much. Don't make them freaking defective. Make them to actually do awesome things in battle.
So, a game can't compromise the fun for the sake of the story, even when the game's main appeal is the story.
Not entirely. Elizabeth brings me to mind. Again, make your companions awesome both in gameplay and in story. Don't make them annoying like Resident Evil 4. That's just the wrong thing to do.
Why? Because we just want to beat people to death with a baseball bat.
Ellie can help you in the battlefield. There's a segment in that video where she tries to help. She failed, but that's an indication that she can actually pull it off. Again, if you want to have sympathetic characters in gameplay, make sure that these sympathetic characters offer a significant help in gameplay to the point where you can notice their contribution and maybe perhaps depend on it. Can we make weak characters like Ashley to contribute in gameplay? Well, obviously not, unless we force it in a scripted sequence, which is why her best place is to hide at a dumpster. We also did get someone who is like her and can actually contribute in combat, and her name is Sheva. And if you want to develop video games, she's a great example of how not to program AI companions.
Again, no judgment.
You've shown nothing but judgment for the past couple of minutes.
And the thing is, if we don't like a game's story that gets in the way of the gameplay, that means we don't actually care if games are art or not.
Yes. Big and big and big and big yes. We don't care if video games are art because what people consider art is subjective from person to person. And trust me, I've been involved in discussions of whether or not video game is art, and regardless of what I think or what you think of it, it will never have a correct answer, even after long hours of discussion, and I just realized that I'm basically wasting time of something that doesn't even have a right answer. So we might be better off agree to disagree on this. How about a discussion of whether or not the video game is good? Isn't that better?
When Roger Ebert said that video games could never be art, we got all mad for that stupid old man because he doesn't even play video games. And then remember how we spent the next decade doing nothing to prove him wrong?
That's his freaking opinion. He's totally entitled to it.
Yes, video games can be art, and there are a ton of incredibly talented artists working in the industry, but we don't care.
Okay, time out. How about we just stop talking about whether or not video games are art and talk about whether or not video games are fun? Because, you know, that's the most important thing, right? I don't care if video game is art or not, and I don't care if you think that video game is art or not, because I only care if video game that I play is gonna be good. Please.
And when we pretend to, we sound like a teenager explaining that watermelon vodka is actually good liquor.
The hell is up with these terrible jokes? And yes, gamers don't care if video games are art. Don't pretend if they are. To some of you still do. Don't even bother arguing. This is the kind of argument in which there will never be a point in which you will win. Do yourself a favor and keep your mouth shut. Or else you'll end up wasting 6+ hours arguing whether or not video game is art with some random twat on the internet. Yeah, that happened to me once. I could have spent much better time jerking off to anime girls.
Look, if we really cared about art, we wouldn't have reacted to Mass Effect 3's ending by demanding that they patch it in a way that lets us fulfill our power fantasy.
Oh, okay, Crack. You're a master of your trolling craft. Salut freaking tations. That really managed to get into my nerves. If we really cared about art, we wouldn't have reacted to the Mass Effect 3 endings. That means if we don't care about art, we would complain about the Mass Effect 3 endings. I don't even know what that means. People don't complain about the Mass Effect 3 ending because they care about power fantasy. People complain about the Mass Effect 3 ending because the endings are garbage. Have you ever had that mindset that the things that people are making can be total garbage? Is your life so perfect that nothing looks like garbage to you? Christ, I don't really need to have nightmares of the world being taken over by tons and tons of Annas. I think they're already right in our faces.
But as desperately as we want to save this school, it seems that I and the rest of the council can't spot her because we know so little about perversion that we don't even recognize it when we see it. I've witnessed an attack. I was right next to her, but I didn't know she was spreading filth because I don't know what filth is.
And we wouldn't have created a petition to get a review of Uncharted 4 removed because we disagreed with it.
Okay, further research shows up that this petition is indeed moronic, but it's moronic on both sides. Are you seriously gonna remove just one problematic reviewer out of many on Uncharted 4? The Washington Post review of the game doesn't even have a score, and Metacritic just assigned 4 out of 10 because, God, I don't know.
So, if being fun and distracting is all it takes for something to count as art, then Jerry Springer counts as art, and professional wrestling, and making list-based comedy videos for the internet.
You really need to be more self-deprecating for that to actually work.
Video games are not relaxing.
Oh, aren't they? Please do go on.
When you talk to people about video games and bring up the stuff I've brought up, the violence, the lack of attention to story, the argument often becomes that they are a stress reliever. They're relaxing. You feel pent-up rage and you play video games and you feel relaxed. The truth is, that's not how anger, stress relief, or relaxation work.
Now, this guy wants to be a freaking psychologist. Go on, sir. Go on.
When you indulge in a violent video game fantasy, you're stimulating your brain but not your body in such a way that it not only exacerbates the frustration and anger, but associates frustration and anger with aggression in a way that is unhealthy in the long term because aggression is unhealthy.
Said by the presenter off of a trolling website. The most classified psychologist since WebMD.
Look, I know the research is conflicted. And yes, I know who Craig Anderson and Christopher Ferguson are. If you don't Google it, it's boring. But if you put that aside, then you already know the truth.
The research is conflicted. Here's a simple research for you. Video game sale rise, violent crime goes down. Explain that to me, please.
So let's just be honest. Games can be exciting, exhilarating, and infuriating, but they're not relaxing.
They can be. Not all games are. What are you even talking about at this moment?
None of us have ever drifted off to sleep playing Mario.
There are games that are just so eternally boring it puts you into sleep. Have you ever encountered a boring game before in your life? I mean, I'm sure you have some. Let me know in the comments. Me? Everybody's gone to the Rapture. My god, that game was boring.
Games are designed to be addictive. We sound like f***ing junkies when we say we find them relaxing and that they relieve our stress. Like we just need a hit of Call of Duty to take the edge off. So let's be honest. There's nothing wrong with saying that you play them for fun. There's nothing wrong with saying that we like ripping a demon's head in half because we're broken inside. I mean, it's better than admitting we're addicted to something.
Oh, yes, video games can be addicting. But hey, I'd rather have my kids to play video games than have their own vape. Nice try, Cracked. You tingled my nerves, but you really need to try harder to make me angry. You tried to induce rage on me, but you're nearly successful. I am sure some of you have to endure this marvelous trolling attempt who are not so successful on hoarding their rage, so just remember to please don't destroy any of your valuable hardware as a result. I should have warned you guys in the beginning, how foolish of me. That's all for the video today. If you like this, you can go ahead and click the like button and subscribe for more if you wish. You can support me on Patreon, and thanks for watching.